Hi, my name's Law, and today I want to show you how we made Wassail, a medieval spiced drink which was consumed during winter, perfect for those long cold nights. Wassail may have been the name for a few different drinks, but for this recipe we'll need a few small apples as well as some apple juice. You could use cider if you wanted to make alcoholic wassail. Wassail was also used to make sops, so we're using a farmhouse style loaf of bread. If it's a little stale, it's even better. We're using a few different spices that would have been available, if a little expensive, during the medieval period. These are nutmeg, mace, long pepper, cinnamon, cloves, and galangal. First up are two spices from the same fruit. Nutmeg is the seed of the fruit and is still quite commonly used in cooking. But we're also using mace blades, which are the covering of the seed and are a little more rarely seen. Next we have long pepper, which were the most popular peppercorns in early medieval Europe, until they were replaced by the round black peppercorns we know today. They're still very common in some Asian cuisines. Cloves are a little more familiar, as they're still used in plenty of modern recipes, especially at Christmas. And of course, cinnamon, in the form of curled up dried bark strips. In 12th century England, these spices would all have been acquired via Constantinople. This, however, is galangal, a cousin of ginger, native to China but had been cultivated in Europe by the 12th century, where it was widely used in cooking and medicine. We're using it here for extra authenticity, but of course you can just use regular ginger instead. So the first thing we're going to do is prepare our spices. In the 12th century, nothing was pre-ground, and you would have to do this by hand in a mortar and pestle. We're going to grind up 2 long peppercorns, a large mace blade broken up into pieces, and a large pinch of the galangal. The cinnamon and cloves will go into the mix whole, and a little of the nutmeg should be grated in too. If you don't have time for all this grinding, or you're struggling to find whole versions of these spices, they're mostly available in ground form in your local supermarket. The apples then need to be sliced horizontally, nice thin slices to lie across the top of the wassail in the pot, and remember to remove all of the pips. When all of our ingredients are prepped, it's time to mull it all together. We're using a slow cooker, but you can just as easily do this in a lidded saucepan on a hob. We used 2 litres of apple juice, which made about 12 cups of wassail. Add the cinnamon and cloves to the juice, then the ground spices, and give it all a nice stir. If you're using dried spices, you may want to mull it for longer, as they won't be as strong. We're impatient and wanted to drink our wassail as soon as possible, so we had our slow cooker on the high setting for about 3 hours, but you could adjust this to a low setting for longer. Before you pop the lid on, make sure to lay your apple slices across the top of the mixture and then leave it to mull. In the meantime, we sliced up our bread, ready to make sops, and then we waited. And here it is! The wassail was piping hot, spicy, and delicious. The galangal and long pepper in particular gave it a very strong taste, just what medieval people liked best. Sops, that is, bread drenched in liquid and then eaten with your fingers, was a very common meal in the medieval period, and it's even where the word supper came from. We found that in this case it made a sort of spicy apple bread pudding, which was actually pretty good. It's been a difficult winter for everyone, and medieval people were certainly no strangers to that. This recipe shows that a little bit of warmth and spice can go a long way. Thanks for watching, and farewell. If you're interested in making your own winter warmer wassail, please let us know how it goes. If you'd like to see us making more authentic medieval food, then comment below, and of course like, subscribe and click for notifications.